Welcome to the final video in this three-part series where we're going to cover how important presentation is to make sure that you give yourself the best possible chance now that you've crafted a strong offer to make it not only appealing to the seller, but very easy to digest and understand. We're going to keep this short and sweet, but in case you missed the first two pieces of this series, I highly recommend you go check those out. There's a link down below in the description to a playlist that has both of those. There's also going to be two links right here that you could click as well. We're going to break this down into three simple steps. The first and often most important is whether you decide to use a standard contract or an attorney-drawn contract. Now, don't be scared by the word attorney. That often brings to mind extra cost out of pocket, confusion, and so much more. But this doesn't have to be scary. In a standard contract that we have with the Ocean City Board of Realtors, where it's very plug and play, we just simply input different pieces of information and submit that over to the seller. An attorney-drawn contract is drawn up by an attorney. There are two reasons why you might want to do this. The first is to avoid the attorney review period. In those standard contracts, there's a 3-day attorney review period, during which, and that's 3 business days, by the way, either party can back away for any reason or no reason at all. All it takes is for them to get an attorney to draw up a letter of disapproval, and poof, your contract is gone. As the buyer, it is very, very critical in this market, especially where buyers are hyper aggressive, that you lock in that property. When it's signed, it's yours. If you have the 3-day attorney review period, you risk losing out on that property. You risk being boxed out or blown out by another buyer. Could be 2 minutes after the seller signs it. It could be right up against that deadline where you're getting excited, you're ready to move forward, and then the rug gets pulled out from under you. So you don't want that to happen. Now, from the seller's standpoint, it's equally appealing. They don't want a buyer to walk away within those 3 business days, and then they have to go back to market, so on and so forth. So using an attorney prepared contract is the way to go, in my opinion. It's very cost effective. Depending on the attorney you use, it can range from $100 up to $500. I have contacts for that. If you need one, just let me know. But always, always, always go with an attorney prepared contract unless the seller is going to get spooked. So that goes back to that clear communication we covered in the past of finding out information and asking good questions ahead of time. Item number 2 is drafting a letter to the seller, what we call the love letter. A lot of people have gotten away from this in this hyper-competitive environment, and it's silly not to do it. There's almost no chance that it will hurt you, but there is a chance that it can help you. If you give people the option to make a decision based off of emotion instead of logic, they're going to lean that way most of the time. Now, I'm not going to say that your offer is going to be $100,000 less, but because you included a picture of your family or wrote a letter that tugged on the heartstrings, that you have a good chance of winning it anyway. That's simply untrue. But what we're talking about is securing the property at or around the price of your competing buyers. That can be the differentiator and the difference maker between an unknown buyer who the seller has no idea outside of their names what their situation is, why they're buying, how are they going to use the property. You have the opportunity to differentiate yourself by simply writing a letter. So every single time, highly encourage you to do that. Now, last but not least, this is not something that you can do, but this is all about the agent that you work with. This will be my first ever humble brag, but bear with me. In the past few months alone, I've been complimented multiple times by listing agents for how easy to digest the information was that I presented. What I mean by that is I don't fling them 15 PDFs all broken out with a one-liner email saying, please see attached for my offer. Let me know what they think. I lay it out in detail, all of the important terms that are very, very easy to read and highlighted, not just for the listing agent to make their lives easier in presenting the information to the seller, but often listing agents will just forward the email right over because you can read it line by line, each and every important term, why it's appealing, and why they should care. So how your agent presents your offer could make or break your chances of securing a property. So I'm coming full circle here, back to the first video. Make sure you choose a professional who is experienced in winning in this environment to give you the best possible chance of crafting a strong offer based on the knowledge and the market happenings at the time, but also their professionalism and their understanding of how this process works so that you separate yourself from the pack. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this and found this and the whole series helpful, make sure you hit subscribe down below. Give me a like on this as well on YouTube. We'll make sure that this gets in front of other people who may find this helpful. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below or reach out to me directly. All of my information is in the description. Thank you for checking this out again and hanging out with me today, and I will see you on the next one.